Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I'm going to continue my series of videos on the Tome of Adventure Design Revised Edition by Matt Finch, Mythmere Games. We are delving into Chapter 4, Non-Dungeon Adventure Design. Before we do this, I would like to invite you to hit the like button and, bell icon, subscribe stuff. It helps the channel grow, and I appreciate that. The more people know that this channel exists, the more of them can get to know how this stuff is made and how they might use it. So, that's good for people, I think. That's why I'm doing it. And of course, if you want to support the channel or get early access to these videos, you can go to my Patreon. It's like a couple bucks Canadian dollars a month, which is like, I don't know, 2 squirts and a cup of coffee, I guess, in the United States. And you'll get access to these videos and the flip through and reviews a week early. All right, let's dive in. Let's do the thing. Last week, we did aerial adventure type. This week, we're doing castles and ruins. And let's be real, we're mostly in castles and ruins. I think I'm a castle and ruins man. So we're going to go ahead and castles and ruins. All right, let's do this. So Castles and Ruins start over here on page 428. Castles and ruins will generally be used quite differently from each other in adventures, since castles are occupied, political or assault on occupied location type adventures, and ruins are mainly abandoned, explore and loot type adventures. However, for purposes of getting ideas, castles and ruins are very similar. Both involve open-air adventuring with a possible aerial component, and the background and physical design of the adventure locale is a very similar process, since ruins are usually the broken and abandoned form of a castle-like settlement. Great. So, the condition of the ruin. So I guess we're starting with the idea that this is a ruin. So we'll start with that. 34. In large crater. Okay. Wild. In large crater. Okay. Covering or burial, if indicated, which I don't think we did, because it's just in a large crater, so it doesn't seem like there's any covering. Basic type of ruin is a D6. So let's roll a D6 here. We got a 4. Okay, so 4 means it was a town. So the ruin of a town. And we skipped the unusual purpose table down here because this town does not have an unusual purpose. The ruins did not have an unusual purpose. So let's continue. Current purpose of ruins will be a D100 roll. Got a 41. Okay. So it says here, an adventuring party has taken possession of the ruins in order to search for treasure. Possibly there is a dungeon entrance. Possibly the ruins are complex enough that searching is required even on the surface. Okay, so 41 claimed by treasure hunters. I think that's the vibe I'm getting here. And, I recently ran a Realms of Peril game where the setup for the origin was like, yeah, there's this big fallen robot that nobody knows anything about. This rich guy came out here and was like, yeah, that's mine. I'll pay you guys to dig around in there and pull stuff out. And, that was the beginning of the whole campaign. And it's been great. Having a lot of fun. So I think that's a cool thing. Adventurers just be like, you know what? It's ours. We found it first. They lick it and it's theirs. Structures of ruins by basic type. So we rolled a town. So we can roll on this D100 table for the structures. 62. 62 is above plus 100 houses. And so when it says above, I think it says going back to this previous entry. Above plus concentric walls around donjon. And then above plus gatehouse. Okay, I see. So it starts with 10d10 houses, and then you kind of go down. That's interesting. That's an interesting, kind of like an additive D100 table or an additive table. I wonder if there's another way to do that, but I do like the idea. So sorry, we rolled a 62. Yeah, see page. I'm just gonna put see page 430 so I can look at this. Table 414. Okay. So this is types of castles. We're not interested in that. Cities and settlements. I think this goes into some. So we could actually learn. What we could do here is we could learn about the town before it was a ruin, which could be really interesting. One of the things I've always wanted to do with an adventure, or even just a game, is to have. Oh God, did you ever play Final Fantasy VIII? There's this really cool series of things that happened in Final Fantasy VIII where the party would be in one place, and then Squall, the main character, would kind of fall into a torpor, and he would wake up in the same place, but in a different time. And it was like, the previous, like, it was the generation before or something. And he was this different person. And I always thought that was such a cool way to tell a story and kind of give the world like really gritty kind of feelings. So let's roll up some things. What's the pride of the town? 94. Oh, okay, taverns and beer. Pride. 94. Taverns and beer. Now this place in a crater, this town in a crater, kind of feels like a Vesuvius kind of thing, Pompeii. We rolled 2 for unusual domestic animals used. So, DA 419. We rolled a 2, which is aurochs. So, kind of oxen type creatures, if I understand how that is supposed to. Is that what aurochs are? Odd customs of dress. Okay. Odd dress. We rolled an 86. So it applies to member of a particular social class. This might be a high class or it might be a shunned class, such as the Hindu untouchables. Okay. Applies to specific class. And then the strange mode of dress is 33, which is flowers. Interesting. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder what you could do with that. I bet you could probably come up. So how would you classify a group of people? Like, what is a class of people? I know the common way we think about it is like upper class, middle class, lower class. That's very modern thinking about it. In the, medieval period, you had more like aristocrats, merchants, and then peasants or serfs. Was very the European model. I'd be very interested to learn how the castes were in more Asian places, but I don't have a ton of knowledge there. And of course, you've got the Untouchables and certain things like that. But I think the Untouchables kind of touch on something that's interesting, like there is a tradition of reincarnation in those places, and so I wonder if a class of people who are reincarnated from something specific, maybe the aurochs, maybe the domesticated animals who are reincarnated as people, are just dressed in flowers. They are treated, they only wear flowers. So I don't know, something crazy like that. You could do some pretty weird stuff with it. That's a cool table. That's interesting. I don't know. Ooh, odd behavior. Who doesn't love an odd behavior? 62. Tap self when agreeing. Oh, I like that. Odd behavior. Man. Yeah, geez. This stuff would be great just for cultural stuff, right? Like, what a cool idea. 62. Tap head when agreeing. Unusual cultural center of gravity. We got a 28. Focused on the community rather than the individual. Okay. So I'm going to call that communalism. I don't know if that's actually what it is, but it sounds like what it is. Might appear fascistic or communist, depending on how it operates. That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, and then he's got a section here about a city map generator. We're not going to dive into that right now. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot here for the city. We might have to dig into this a bit later. I think, though... Oops. Too far. Let's look back here. So that was castles and ruins. And then there's also cities and settlements. So, like, we kind of dug into settlements a little bit. Despite kind of being in the castles and ruins, because we ended up being in the ruin of a town. So, maybe next time we'll try the castles. Okay, let's go see what castles has. What is the castle stuff? Type of castle. Ooh. 37. Keep and Bailey with gatehouse. Okay. I mean, that's a town. It's kind of the same. Right? Unusual castles and manors. 11. Built of bones? A bone castle? Woo! Unusual manor. 37. Crashed vehicle. Possibly flying vehicle being used for a house. Ooh, what if the flying towers from the last video, one of them crashed and became a manor house? That's pretty cool. They got some people in a castle, so 91 for people in a castle. Lord, although the actual ownership of a castle can vary, emperors and kings have several castles they own directly. Some nobles will reside in most castles, either as a vassal or as the direct owner. Well, there you go. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a good time. We are continuing to plow through this book, and I look forward to showing you the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go to Patreon. Go to Watcher DM. Support indie creators. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for playing.